A Colorado dentist is accused of poisoning his wife's protein shakes to start a new life with his lover. Last Wednesday morning, mom of 6, Angela Craig, went to the hospital for the third time this month. Her condition quickly deteriorated, but once again, doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong. She was placed on a ventilator and tragically passed away on Saturday. With James's arrest, we now know this all began on February 27th. This was the day he made a Gmail account under the name Tim and Wapples and made Google searches about ways to poison someone undetected. This same day, James also ordered cyanide to his family of 8's $1.3 million Aurora home. It was delivered on March 4th, and he put it in Angela's protein drink on March 6th. Unbelievably, in the couple's text from March 6th, you can see that Angela texted James about how she was feeling dizzy and really unwell after her shake. She tried to explain it away with a sinus infection, but at another point said she felt drugged. To this, James responded, quote, "Given our history, I know that must be triggering. Just for the record, I didn't drug you." So Angela did go to the hospital that day, but then was released later that afternoon. 2 days later, on March 8th, James ordered more cyanide and flew out his orthodontist Mistress from Texas. By March 9th, Angela was back in the hospital, but obviously James was busy. On March 13th, his second package arrived to his dental office, and while he'd asked the office manager not to open it, another employee did and saw what was inside. Thankfully, this person realized that these symptoms of cyanide were similar to what Angela was experiencing. James begged for it all not to be brought to police. When a detective finally walked into the hospital on Thursday morning, Angela was already on life support with no brain activity. She passed away on Saturday with James refusing an autopsy, and then his arrest came early Sunday morning. As for a motive, Angela's sister has said, quote, "The Craigs' marriage had always been tumultuous, and James had multiple affairs. He filed for bankruptcy after running his dental office to the ground, and told Angela he'd been addicted to explicit material since he was a teenager." James also did drug Angela 5 years ago, but said it was only because he planned to take his life and didn't want her to stop him. So according to court records, James will be seen in court tomorrow on March 23rd. As we know, this family has 6 children who are now left without both of their parents. I can't find any ways to donate yet, but I will keep that updated in the comments.
Well, looky here. The mistress of James Craig has gone into hiding after being outed. They called this lady by her full name, so people are looking for her. The mistress has gone into hiding after it emerged she had been due to fly into Colorado to carry on their lascivious affair. On the weekend, he is charged with unaliving his wife. Texas-based orthodontist Cain, Cain, Karin Cain, did not attend to her Marble Falls practice on Thursday, a day after she was named as the woman police say exchanged erotic emails with Craig and met him for trysts earlier this month as he laced his wife's smoothies with arsenic and cyanide in a bid to unalive her, according to documents. Authorities claim Craig had poisoned his wife's protein shakes in order to unalive her with a view to starting a new life with Cain. He was arrested hours after his spouse was declared brain dead and passed on March 19th. He appeared in court on March 19th, and he was charged with first-degree murder. At the same time, Cain was laying low as the scandal of her meetups with the father of 6 became the talk of the town. She has the only dental practice there, so of course, everybody knows Karin Cain. "If I were her, I'd be in hiding too," one resident said. "It's all anyone is talking about in town." Cain's husband, Jason, who she filed to divorce in November 2022, was at the home. He basically said, no comment. Okay, so some of the comments that were on a post of mine, this woman said that they are Mormon. So I didn't know what that meant. So she expounded for me. She says he was high ranking in the church, and divorce isn't something his religion believes in because of their afterlife. So I'm like, so do murderers get into their afterlife? I'm just wondering because I don't know. She says it's more about trying to get away with it and still look good to the church and in this life. There's no spiritual divorce, so they're stuck. And somebody else says many are super controlled as well. Growing up, they grow up crazy and not well. Especially many men have fantasies and do crazy things. And then Cuckoo76 says, FYI, he was the president of the Elders Quorum in his LDS church. And then somebody else said maybe because he'd have to pay her. Whew. But Naughty Broad came in with some tips. Rule number 1, don't get married. Rule number 2, if you do decide to ignore rule number 1, definitely don't marry a dentist. I didn't know dentists had this kind of reputation. And then the next comment said, no doctors at all. And then someone else said, cops or soldiers. Jeez. Anyways, get